Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayapiriye Ashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhakta Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakter Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8, Lord Krishna shows the universal form within his mouth. Text number 21 onwards. So yesterday we discussed how Garg Muni gave the names, performed the name giving ceremony for Krishna and Balram. And now further pastimes of Krishna Balram going on. Kalenu vraj talpena gokule ram keshavo janubhyam sah panibhyam ringam mano vijahanatu. After a short time passed, both brothers Ram and Krishna began to crawl on the ground of Vraja with the strength of their hands and knees and thus enjoy their childhood play. So can we imagine? I mean, they are, because of it said, because of fear of Krishna, all the demigods are working and all the planets, Earth planet is moving and all the other planets are moving in their orbits. Air, wind is blowing and water and the sun is doing its job. Everybody is doing their job. And what are they doing? They are beginning to crawl on the ground of Braja with the strength of their hands and knees and thus enjoy their childhood play. Because they want to enjoy these childhood pastimes. They do it only in the earthly world, in the material world. They don't do that in the spiritual world. So just imagine the pleasure Yashoda and Rohini must be having, seeing them enjoying this, trying to walk or crawling pastime. One Brahman devotee says, Shrutim aparis smritimitare bharatam anya bhajanto bhavabhita aham iha nandam ande yasya linde param brahma. Let others, fearing material existence, worship the Vedas, the Vedic supplementary Puranas and the Mahabharata. But I shall worship Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the Supreme Brahman is crawling. For a highly exalted devotee, Kaivalya merging into the existence of the Supreme appears no better than hell, Arkayate. But here one can simply think of the crawling of Krishna and Balram in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj and always merge in transcendental happiness. As long as one is absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna Leela, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes, as Parikshit Maharaj desired to be, one is always merged in actual Kaivalya. Therefore, Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. Lokasya janato vidvans chakre sato samita. Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of Narad, so that anyone can take advantage of this literature, think of Krishna's pastimes, and always be liberated. So this Brahman devotee, actually he came when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. And he presented his poems. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not listen to anything until it is approved by Swarup Damodar Goswami. And when Swarup Damodar Goswami read this shloka, he just loved it and he took him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is what this Brahman is saying. Let those who fear material existence, let them worship Vedas, Puranas, Mahabharata, whatever they want to. And because they're afraid, they want to do karma kanda, sacrifices or processes, let them. But what do I want? I don't even care for material existence. All I want to worship Nanda Maharaj. Why Nanda Maharaj? Because in his courtyard, the Supreme Brahman, he's Supreme Brahman, but he has appeared as little baby Krishna. And he's crawling, not even walking, he's crawling. These pastimes, childhood pastimes of Krishna are so sweet. Tavang agri yugma manushkrishya sarisripanto ghosh praghosh ruchiram rajakardameshu tannad hrishta manasav nusritya lokam mugd prabhitavad upe turanti matro. When Krishna and Balram, with the strength of their legs, crawled in the muddy places created in Braj by cow dung and cow urine, their crawling resembled the crawling of serpents, and the sound of their ankle bells was very charming. Very much pleased by the sound of other people's ankle bells, they used to follow these people as if going to their mothers. But when they saw that these were other people, they became afraid and returned to their real mothers, Yashoda and Rohini. And won't everybody be confused? Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is he doing? He's getting afraid by following other people when they are wearing ankle bells. They are thinking it's their ankle bells and this and that, and they're afraid and running to the real mothers. Beautiful pastimes. When Krishna and Balram were crawling about Brajbhumi, they were enchanted by the sound of ankle bells. Thus, they sometimes followed other people who would enjoy the crawling of Krishna and Balram and exclaim, "Oh, see how Krishna and Balram are crawling." Upon hearing this, Krishna and Balram could understand that these were not their mothers they were following, and they would return to their actual mothers. Thus, the crawling of Krishna and Balram was enjoyed by the people of the neighborhood, as well as by Mother Yashoda and Rohini, and the two children themselves. Tanamataro nija suto granaya suvanteo pankangaraga ruchiravup grihe dorbhyam dattva stanam pravibato sma mukham niriksha mukta smital padashanam yayatu pramodam. Dressed with muddy earth mixed with cow dung and cow urine, the babies looked very beautiful. And when they went to their mothers, Yashoda and Rohini picked them up with great affection, embraced them, and allowed them to suck the milk flowing from their breasts. While sucking the breast, the baby smiled, and their small teeth were visible. The mothers, upon seeing those beautiful teeth, enjoyed great transcendental bliss. So they were doing all the pastimes. Small teeth were coming out, and the small teeth were visible. And look at the first line: dressed with muddy earth mixed with cow dung and cow urine. I mean, they were not wearing anything else. This is all they were wearing. Like a whole day, they would be rolling in the earth and smeared with cow dung and cow urine. That's it. As a mother cared for their respective babies by the arrangement of Yogamaya, the babies thought, "Here is my mother," and the mothers thought, "Here is my son." Because of affection, milk naturally flowed from the mother's breasts, and the babies drank it. When the mothers saw small teeth come in, and they would count them and be happy. And when the babies saw their mothers allowing them to drink their breast milk, the babies also felt transcendental pleasure. As this transcendental affection continued between Rohini and Balram and Yashoda and Krishna, they all enjoyed transcendental bliss. So it's so much of pleasure, it gives so much of pleasure when the mothers see the baby, the teeth of the babies come out. So 4 teeth come out in the beginning, the front 4 teeth. And then the babies are happy and mothers are happy seeing those teeth coming out. Even the teeth are transcendental. So they want to come out when they feel mothers will be happy and babies will be happy, because they are all, the ultimate purpose is to give pleasure to Krishna, Balram, Mother Rohini, Mother Yashoda. That's all. Yare Angana Darshaniya Kumar Leela Andar Vraje Tad Bala Pragrihit Tuchhe Vatsari Kastat Ubhavanu Krishyamano Prekshantya Ujjit Griha Jaharshur Asantaya. Within the house of Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd ladies would enjoy seeing the pastimes of the babies Ram and Krishna. The babies would catch the ends of the calves' tails, and the calves would drag them here and there. When the ladies saw these pastimes, they suddenly stopped their household activities and laughed and enjoyed the incidents. While crawling in curiosity, Krishna and Balaram would sometimes catch the ends of the tails of the calves. The calves, feeling that someone had caught them, would begin to flee here and there. And the babies would hold on very tightly, being afraid of how the calves are moving. The calves, seeing that the babies were holding them tightly, would also become afraid. And the ladies would come to rescue the babies and gladly laugh. This was their enjoyment. And this was every day's pastimes, because they were too little to go out anywhere else right now. So this was every day. They would give so much of pleasure to their mothers, to the gopis, and the calves, and that they would also enjoy. Shrangya Agni Dashtra Sijalad Vijakant Kebhya Krida Paravati Chalo Swasuto Nishedhum Grihani Kartum Api Yatra Na Tajjanayo Shekat Apaturalam Manaso Anavasthamam. When Mother Yashoda and Rohini were unable to protect the babies from calamities threatened by horned cows, by fire, by animals with claws and teeth, such as monkeys, dogs, and cats, and by thorns, swords, and other weapons on the ground, they were always in anxiety, and their household engagements were disturbed. At that time, they were fully equipoised in the transcendental ecstasy known as the distress of maternal affection, for this was aroused within their minds. All these pastimes of Krishna and the great enjoyment exhibited by the mothers are transcendental. Nothing about them is material. They are described in the Brahma Samhita as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. In the spiritual world, there is anxiety, there is crying, and there are other feelings similar to those of the material world. But because the reality of these feelings is in the transcendental world, of which this world is only an imitation, Mother Yashoda and Rohini enjoyed them transcendently, although they were in anxiety, always in anxiety for the protection of their babies, and they could not take care of their households properly. But still, they were enjoying this. Kale nalpena rajarshe Rama Krishnascha Gokule Agrishta Janubhi Padbhir Vichakram Aturanjasa. O King Parikshit, within a very short time, both Ram and Krishna began to walk very easily in Gokul on their legs by their own strength without the need to crawl. Now, instead of crawling with their knees, the babies could now stand up by holding onto something and walk little by little without difficulty by the strength of their legs. Again, this is a sight of great pleasure for the parents when they see the first time that the baby could get up and walk even while holding on to something. Tatastu Bhagwan Krishna Yasyara Vraj Valakya Saharama Vraj Strinam Chikride Janyan Udam. Thereafter, Lord Krishna, along with Balaram, began to play with the other children of the cowherd men, thus awakening the transcendental bliss of the cowherd women. The word Saharama, meaning along with Balaram, is significant in this verse. In such transcendental pastimes, Krishna is a chief hero, and Balaram provides additional help. So they are always together and playing with other children. Krishnasya Gopya Ruchiram Vikshya Komara Chapalam Shanvantya Kiltan Matur Iti Hochu Samagataha. Observing the very attractive childish restlessness of Krishna, all the gopis in the neighborhood, to hear about Krishna's activities again and again, would approach Mother Yashoda and speak to her as follows. Krishna's activities are always very attractive to devotees. Therefore, the neighbors who were friends of Mother Yashoda informed Mother Yashoda of whatever they saw Krishna doing in the neighborhood. Mother Yashoda, just to hear about the activities of her son, stopped her household duties and enjoyed the information given by the neighborhood friends. So this is common in the villages. In earlier days also, in our neighborhood also, if we were doing something and the mother would know everything, the neighborhood ladies would come and give all the news. And this was a regular, everyday thing. And what to speak of Krishna and Balram, if they are doing anything in the street or in the village, so many gopis were there, they would come and tell Mother Yashoda. And obviously, they'll also get in trouble when they would steal the butter. Vatsan munchan kvachit samye krosha sanjata hasa steyam swadatyat dadipaya kalpitah steya yoga markan bhukshan vivajati sachetnati bhandam vinatti dravya labe sagrihe kupito yati upakroshatokan. Our dear friend Yashoda, your son sometimes comes to our house before the milking of the cows and releases the calves. And when the master of the house becomes angry, your son merely smiles. Sometimes he devises some process by which he steals palatable yogurt, butter, and milk, which he then eats and drinks. When the monkeys assemble, he divides it with them. And when the monkeys have their bellies so full that they won't take anymore, he breaks the pots. Sometimes, if he gets no opportunity to steal butter or milk from a house, he will be angry at the householders, and for his revenge, he will agitate the small children by pinching them. Thus, then when the children begin crying, Krishna will go away. Can you imagine Supreme Personality of Godhead doing all this? But he comes to enjoy his pastimes. Himself and along with his devotees. That's all he comes for. The narration of Krishna's naughty childhood pastimes would be presented to Mother Yashoda in the form of complaints. Sometimes Krishna would enter the house of a neighbor, and if he found no one there, he would release the calves before the time for the cows to be milked. So in the morning and in the evening, cows get milked, but if the calves are released before that, what they do is they just bring everything, all the milk. The calves are actually supposed to be released when when the mothers are milked, but Krishna would release them before that time, and naturally the calves would drink all the milk from the mothers. When the cowherd men saw this, they would chase Krishna and try to catch him, saying, "Here is Krishna doing mischief." But he would flee and enter another house, where he would again devise some means to steal butter and yogurt. Then the cowherd men would again try to capture him, saying, "Here is a butter thief, better capture him." And they would be angry. But Krishna would simply smile and they would forget everything. Sometimes in their presence, he would begin eating the yogurt and butter. There was no need for Krishna to eat butter, since his belly was always full. But he would try to eat it. Or else he would break the pots and distribute the contents to the monkeys. His monkeys, the main monkey, the leader of all the monkeys his name is Dadhi Lobha. Dadhi Lobha means one who is greedy after the yogurt. And he had so many monkeys because all these monkeys were there during the fight of Ram against Ravan. And they had helped Lord Ram. And now as Krishna, he is paying back. In this way, Krishna was always engaged in mischief making. If in any house he could not find any butter or yogurt to steal, he would go into a room and agitate the small children sleeping there by pinching them. And when they cried, he would go away or he would run away. So this is, I mean, who can stop this? Nobody could stop this. There's no way. And Krishna, Balram, with all these Gopas, friends with him, they would do this mischief every day in Braj. They would mark which house we're going to go to today, and somehow they would always enter and do all these pastimes. Hasta graye racheti vidhim pit kol khaladyash Chidram hyantar nihit vayuna shikya bhandeshu tadvit Dhantagare dhritamani ganam swangamartha pardipam Kale gopyo yarhi grihi krityeshu sivyagra chittaha. When the milk and yogurt are kept high on a string hanging from the ceiling and Krishna Balram cannot reach it, they arrange to reach it by piling up various planks and turning upside down the mortar for grinding spices. Being quite aware of the contents of a pot, they pick holes in it. While the elder gopis go about their household affairs, Krishna and Balram sometimes go into a dark room, brightening the place with the valuable jewels and ornaments on their bodies and taking advantage of this light by stealing. Formerly in every household, yogurt and butter were kept for use in emergencies. But Krishna and Balram would pile up planks so that they could reach the pots and would then pick holes in the pots with their hands so that the contents would leak out and they could drink it. This was another means for stealing butter and milk. When the butter and milk were kept in a dark room, Krishna and Balram would go there and make the place bright with valuable jewels on their bodies. On the whole, Krishna and Balram engaged in stealing butter and milk from the neighborhood houses in many ways. So that's why his name is, another name of Krishna is Makhan Chor. So can you really, we call anybody chor, a thief, it's very bad. But Krishna, when he is Makhan Chor, we call him Makhan Chor and we can get liberated just by calling him Makhan Chor. Evam dharshtyanushati kurute mehnadini vastos teyopayar virachit kritihi supratiko yathaste ittham stribhi sabhay nayan shri mukhalokini bhir vyakyatartha prahisit mukhi nahi uplabdhum yachat. When Krishna is caught in his naughty activities, the master of the house will say to him, "Oh, you are a thief," and artificially express anger at Krishna. Krishna will then reply, "I'm not a thief, you are a thief." Sometimes being angry, Krishna passes urine and stool in a neat, clean place in our houses. But now our dear friend Yashoda, this expert thief, is sitting before you like a very good boy. Sometimes all the gopis would look at Krishna sitting there, his eyes fearful so that his mother would not chastise him. And when they saw Krishna's beautiful face, instead of chastising him, they would simply look upon his face and enjoy transcendental bliss. Mother Yashoda would mildly smile at all this fun and she would not want to chastise her blessed transcendental child. Krishna's business in the neighborhood was not only to steal, but sometimes to pass stool and urine in a neat, clean house. When caught by the master of the house, Krishna would chastise him, saying, "You are a thief." If the master Gopas or Gopis would say, "Why are you stealing? You are a chore." No, you are a thief. Why would Krishna tell them you are a thief? Because they were taking stuff from cows and selling that in the market. Of course, this is their business, this is their occupation. But who can argue with Krishna? Aside from being a thief in his childhood affairs, Krishna acted as an expert thief when he was young by attracting young girls and enjoying them in the rasa dance. This is Krishna's business. He is also violent as the killer of many demons. Although mundane people like non-violence and other such brilliant qualities, guard the absolute truth, being always the same is good in any activities, even so-called immoral activities like stealing, killing, and violence. And Krishna did everything. Danced with the others' wives on the outward platform. God, the absolute truth, is always the same. Krishna is always pure and he's always the supreme absolute truth. Krishna may do anything supposedly abominable in material life, yet still he is attractive. Therefore, his name is Krishna, meaning all attractive. This is the platform on which transcendental loving affairs and service are exchanged. Because of the features of Krishna's face, the mothers were so attracted that they could not chastise him. Instead of chastising him, they smiled and enjoyed hearing of Krishna's activities. Thus the gopis remained satisfied and Krishna enjoyed their happiness. Therefore, another name of Krishna is Gopi Jana Vallabha, because he invented such activities to please the gopis. So I guess we'll stop here and see anybody has any questions or comments. Because the next pastime, from next shloka, the next pastime of showing the universal form within the mouth will start. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.